The laughter at the party was loud enough to drown out my thoughts, but not my embarrassment. I stood quietly, clutching a half-empty glass of water, forcing a polite smile while my son's wife, Emily, entertained the guests with one of her funny stories. Everyone but me found it amusing. And then he grabbed the wrong remote and turned off the TV instead of the fan, she said, laughing and swirling her wine. Bless him, still figuring out technology. The crowd burst into laughter. My son, Daniel, didn't stop her. He laughed too. The joke was on me. I smiled weakly and lowered my gaze. Maybe I could have brushed it off if it had happened once, but she'd been making these subtle little jabs all evening. Each time someone came near, she found another chance to make me seem like a confused, aging fool. He forgets things sometimes, she'd said earlier. He's just not used to modern life, came another remark later. To them, I was the outdated old man taking up space in their home. But what Emily didn't realize was this, that house was still mine. My name is Edward Miller. I'm 71, a retired schoolteacher, and I've been a widower for 10 years. When my wife passed away, I sold our small home and moved in with Daniel and Emily. My son had insisted, "Dad, you shouldn't live alone. We'll make sure you're comfortable." I believed him. I even used the money from my old house to buy a new one under my name for us all. My plan was to gift it to Daniel after I was gone. I thought that was what good fathers did. But lately, I've felt more like an unwelcome guest than family. Emily sighed every time I asked for help with my phone. She rearranged the furniture and warned me not to move anything. Once, she said, this place would look so much better without all that old furniture. She meant mine. I kept silent because Daniel seemed happy, and I didn't want to stir trouble. But that night, surrounded by laughter that cut like knives, something inside me cracked. When the guests left, I sat alone in the dim living room, watching the last flickers of garden lights fade. Emily entered still in her shimmering red dress, a glass of wine in hand. "Oh, Dad," she chuckled, "don't take it personally. I was just joking." "About me?" I asked quietly. She rolled her eyes. Everyone laughed, it was harmless. I said nothing. She exhaled sharply. "You really need to lighten up. Honestly, Daniel and I were just talking, we could use some space. Maybe visit your brother for a while, it'd be good for everyone." Her words stung worse than any insult. She left before I could reply. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat on the edge of my bed, surrounded by old photographs, my wife's smiling face, Daniel as a boy, our first family vacation. I remembered what my wife used to tell me. "Don't let anyone make you feel small in your own home, Edward." And that's when it hit me, this wasn't their home. It was mine. Maybe it was time to remind them. The next morning, I rose early. The house was still, sunlight spilling through the kitchen window as I sipped my tea. Then, I picked up the phone and called my lawyer, Mr. Collins. "Edward," he greeted warmly. "It's been a while." "Yes," I said calmly. "I need to sell my house." "Your house?" he asked, startled. "Yes. The one on Willow Lane." He hesitated. "Are you sure, Edward? That's where your son lives." "I'm sure," I replied. 3 weeks later, the sale went through faster than I imagined. I told no one, not Daniel, not Emily. I wanted to see how long it would take them to notice. They were too busy planning their next vacation, too busy to talk, too busy to care. Then one afternoon, the real estate agent arrived with the new owners. I made sure Daniel and Emily were both home. Emily answered the door, confusion flashing across her face. "Can I help you?" The agent smiled. "Yes, we're here to do a final inspection before moving in." Emily frowned. "There must be a mistake. This is our house." The agent turned to me. "Mr. Miller, are these your son and daughter-in-law?" "Yes," I said. "And this was my house. But I've sold it." Emily's face went pale. You sold it." Daniel stepped forward, stunned. "Dad, what are you talking about? You can't just." "I can," I said softly. "It's under my name. I bought it. I paid for it. You never even checked the papers." Daniel stood speechless. Emily's lips parted, but no words came out. "Dad," Daniel finally whispered, Where will we go? What are we supposed to do? You can stay for 2 more weeks, I said. After that, the new owners move in. Emily's eyes blazed. This is crazy. You can't do this to your own son. I met her gaze steadily. No, Emily. You did this to yourself. That night, I packed a small bag and left before sunrise. I moved into a quiet seaside retirement cottage, peaceful, warm, full of kind people who said good morning without judgment. Daniel called a few times. I picked up once. Dad, I'm sorry, he said, his voice trembling. Emily knows she went too far. We were just thoughtless. I sighed. Son, I love you. But respect isn't something you're owed, it's something you earn. You let her treat me like a burden in my own home. I know, he whispered. I'll make it right. I hope you do, I said softly. For your sake, not mine. Months passed. I heard they'd rented a small apartment across town. Emily no longer spoke to me, which didn't bother me much. Now, sometimes I sit on my porch watching the ocean waves roll in. I think back to that party, the laughter, the sting of humiliation, and I smile. Because that was the night I stopped staying silent. That was the night I remembered who I was. And that was the night she lost the house I built with love. Never mistake kindness for weakness. A quiet man's silence isn't surrender, it's patience. And when that patience ends, the world witnesses the strength of quiet revenge.